Ladies and gentlemen, the last time I did a video on these five former police officers from Memphis, they were trying to get separate trials. Well, there's an update on this. Well, their request for separate trials has been rejected by the judge. Okay. So they will be tried together, whether they like it or not. So a judge on Monday denied requests for three of the officers requested a separate trial. It wasn't all of them. And lawyers for Tadarius Bean, Desmond Mills, and Justin Smith had filed motions so that their case could be separate from Demetrius Haley and Emmett Smith, arguing that they could not receive fair trials if they all faced the jury together for the violent beating of Nichols on January 7th that was caught on police video cam. So Shelby County Judge James Jones Jr. issued an order Monday denying those requests, saying that severing the cases is not required to protect the rights to a fair determination of their guilt or innocence. All five police officers of Memphis PD Crime Suppression Unit. I don't know why they call these units. They act like these units are so special. They're supposed to get rid of crime, but the cops are actually out here being violent. Go figure. Only in America. Have pled not guilty to state charges, including second degree murder and aggravated kidnapping, in the beating death of Tyre Nichols, who was punched, kicked, slugged with a police baton after he fled a traffic stop during the time he was hit with a stun gun and pepper sprayed. Nichols, 29, died in a hospital 3 days after the beating. An autopsy report showed Nichols died from blows to the head, and a manner of death was homicide. The report described brain injuries, cuts, and bruises to the head and other parts of the body. The five officers, all of whom are black, were fired shortly after the beating, which was one of several violent encounters between the police and black people that sparked protests and renewed debate about police brutality and police reform in the US. And you notice, since this case, they have not moved on anything. Every time these killings come up, they talk about reform, but they never do it. And that's because they don't want to do it on our behalf. The ones that get killed the most by the police, they don't want to do that for us. They want us to remain out here sitting ducks. That's what they prefer. In addition to the state charges, five officers were indicted on September 13th on federal civil rights charges alleging they used excessive force and lied about the beating. They have pled not guilty on all of those charges. So the five former police officers were part of a so called Scorpion unit. So it was supposed to be a crime suppression team that was later disbanded after the beating death of Tyre Nichols. So during the hearing on September 15th in state court, Jones heard from lawyers from the three former officers who were seeking separate trials. John Keith Perry, the lawyer for Bean, and Martin Zuma, the attorney for Smith, said neither officer was at the initial traffic stop when police said Nichols was pulled over on an allegation of reckless driving, which we later found out that doesn't even exist on the video. He was not reckless driving at all. Police have since said they found no evidence of Nichols driving recklessly. Nichols ran away from the officers who tried to restrain him outside of his car. Well, being that he was not reckless driving, he should never have been restrained in the first place. Authorities said he ran towards a nearby home and called out to his mother as he was being pummeled just steps away from his house. Nichols was helpless, and yeah, he was, and he was hit by Haley, Martin, and Mills while being held by Bean and Smith, prosecutors said in a court filing. Lawyers said Bean and Smith merely responded to the call about the suspect who was running away from the police after he had been hit with a stun gun and pepper sprayed. Bean tackled Nichols, and he and Smith were doing their job as they tried to get Nichols' hands behind his back so that he could be handcuffed, the lawyer said. Handcuffed for what? They even admitted he was not reckless driving. Handcuffed for what? There was no crime committed. But see, these are the notorious things that happen to black men in this country. You don't have to commit a crime in America to end up in prison. See, these folks always used to run around here acting like, well, you don't do the crime, you don't do the time. Y'all full of crap. You don't have to do a crime in order to do the time. And it's always been this way since policing exists. You do not have to commit a crime to go to jail in America. All right. So we shall see. Their case should be coming up shortly. And I do intend on watching the case online. And you can best believe the federal charges are coming after they get finished with these guys on the state level. Please tell me what you think about this video. And I'm glad they're not getting separate trials. They don't deserve no separate trials. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.